to our online demonstration. Shane and I do these demos every month for our lovely Thermomix owners, people who are curious about the Thermomix, and basically for our team, for our whole Thermomix team to invite people along to, so that if you can't get to a face-to-face demo, this is where you might end up. So we also do record, and hopefully we are recording, Shane, excellent. We also pop these up on our YouTube channel as well, but not with your faces or anything like that, just my face. And so you can always go back and rewatch previous ones as well. So before we get started, let us tell you the investment for a Thermomix is $2,579. You do get everything that's shown on the screen and pretty much everything that, I don't think I'm using any of the extra things tonight. So everything that you see me using tonight is included when you buy your Thermomix for $2,579. There's lots of payment options, and I will go through those a little bit later in the demo. But without further ado, let's get cooking. So tonight I'm just making two things. I'm making a pizza dough, and I'm just going to show you a couple of, well, actually I'm not going to really show you much about that. I'm just going to show you how to make that because I'm actually going to cook that for school lunches tomorrow. And then probably my all-time favorite Thermomix recipe, which is the creamy salami fettuccine. I feel like there's another word in there. Creamy. I should know. Seeing as it's my favorite, I really should know what it's called, shouldn't I? Creamy tomato and salami fettuccine. There we go. I think that's what I said. Anyway, so before we get started, we will, what we will get started on is the pizza dough. So those of you who've got a Thermomix, I'd love to see in the chat if you've made a dough yet. So the Thermomix, you can mix up any kind of dough you can think of, you can do in the Thermomix, and there's probably a COOKIDOO recipe already done for it, depending on what kind of bread you want or what dough you're looking at as well. So now on my screen, and I know you were just there, Shane, so you can go back. Hey, Rebecca, welcome. So you can go back to my screen. Thanks, Steph. So I've actually told the Thermomix what we're having tonight, and it's in my week. So this is a really cool part of the TM6 that you probably wouldn't have seen too much, Julie, on your TM5. Your COOKIDOO and all of the integrated parts of the Thermomix are built into your Thermomix. We don't have to have additional cook keys or attachments or anything like that anymore. I've told it what we're having, so I'm going into my week and I'm going to choose the pizza dough. And then from here, if I hit down, I can have a look and see all the ingredients and like the hints and tips and all the bits and nutritional things, everything. Or I could just hit start cooking and I could just start going step by step through and start cooking my pizza, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to lightly grease a bowl because, well, maybe I will because I don't think I have my thermomat down. Here we go. I don't know where it could be. Maybe upstairs. Anyway, if you've got a thermomat, you won't have to grease a bowl. But if you don't have a thermomat, you might have to grease a bowl in that step. But that's the beauty of the step-by-step instructions with the Thermomix, that even if it's an instruction that isn't part on the Thermomix, it will give you the instructions on the screen of what to do as well. Okay, so now it has told me that I need 220 grams of water. So everything is measured in grams. We're looking at making it easy. We don't need to have any, measuring jugs or anything like that. A little bit over is okay. I'm not going to worry about the sugar for these ones. Sometimes a dough will ask you to put some sugar in. It does actually help the yeast. So sometimes it's a good idea to put it in, but for this dough, I'm not going to worry about it today. And some dried yeast. And now, when you're popping your yeast in, can you go to to this screen over here, Shane? When you're popping your yeast in, no, not screen, sorry, bowl. There we go. Just make sure that you're popping it down the sides. Don't pop anything in on top of the blades because obviously if you have dry ingredients on top of your blades there, it won't get mixed in properly. So always make sure that you're dumping it in the sides of your blades too. Okay, then we're going to give that a little whirl around for 20 seconds. And we'll see how that goes. Do you think we've got a thermomat upstairs, Shane, that we might be able to acquire? I always make sure I need Shane to run upstairs for something during our demos, just to get his steps in and to make sure that he's getting his exercise. Rightio, so now we're hearing the ding. So when the ding happens, we know the Thermomix needs us. We'll go back and we'll press next. We will tear back to 0 because when I've taken the lid off, we've actually gone back to minus, or to a minus. So I've teared back to 0 and now I'm just going to pop in my baker's flour. Now, no one told me in the chat if they have made dough or not. I've just spilled flour all over the Thermomix. I'll just blow. There we go. It'll be right. But if you've started to make dough in your Thermomix, or if you haven't started yet, just make sure that you do buy a baker's flour. So you want to make sure that you do have baker's flour. It's a little bit more gluten and it's a stronger flour than just your plain flour. And you will get a much better result with your homemade breads. Thanks, Doc. I've just spilled flour all over my Thermomix. While you're away, I've disgraced myself for you, Shane. But yeah, you will definitely get a better result with your doughs if you use baker's flour. Now I'm going in with some oil. There we go. And if you do have questions, please chuck them in the chat. Oh, we have got some things in the chat. It's list of the weekend. No, not yet. I've made focaccia. Oh, the focaccia is a great one to make because they're really expensive to buy those fancy kind of breads. So, yeah, that's a great one to make. Yeah? And the focaccia is so easy. It's just almost exactly the same recipe, but you just push it into a tray. So, actually, I might even make this into a focaccia tonight, actually. Oh, you've inspired me, Anne. That's what I'll do. And that's what the kids can take. Rightio. So I've put my baker's flour in and now I'm kneading. And I'm just going to grab my cloth and quickly just clean this up because it is everywhere. Good news is that I don't think we need an up close of me wiping the Thermomix. But good news is this is splash proof. So even if you spill water on it or whatever, you're not going to hurt your Thermomix. Obviously, you're not going to hurt it if you spill some flour on it either. Rightio. So now with my Thermomat, which is, thank you so much, Shane, for going and grabbing this. This is a host reward. So I'll talk about host rewards later in the demo as well. But you can get one of these at a reduced price as well. I wonder, with the focaccia, I wonder what topping you had on your focaccia. With the Thermomat, some people like to put flour on it so that the dough doesn't stick to it. I actually prefer oil to just give it a little bit of olive oil, and you can just rub that on there like that. And then that means that your dough won't stick to your mat, and it's also a lot cleaner. You don't end up with flour everywhere because we'd hate to do that as well. So I've got a tray just here, so that's what I can do. I can sit that there to remind me that I'm going to make this into like a focaccia bread. Don't know if you want to show this shade, but for those of you who've got a TM6, when your Thermomix is kneading, this is the only time you've got to stay with your machine, okay? Because if that did get really uneven, you could start to move. So you can see there, it is moving a bit. It's not moving too much, but you just have to make sure you stay with your Thermomix. So any other time, it's safe to leave the kitchen, but not when you're kneading, okay? Rightio, there we go, we're done. So how easy is that? Now, this is the pizza dough recipe. So normally, we'll give that a bit of a shake. Now, if you've left with a little bit in there, like I am there, see that? What you can do is you can just undo the bowl like so, and then you're not left with anything in there, nice and clean. And then you can just put put a little bit of oil on your hand from there and then just grab that off there as well. Normally, this would be, I would make this into 2 large pizzas once it's brewed, but tonight we'll make it into a focaccia. We'll have to go and get some herbs out of the garden for later. Rightio, so there's that done, and we'll just give that a bit of a thing. That's a beautiful dough. You can feel that is really nice. So let's sit that there, give that a wrap up somewhere warm, which is actually anywhere here at the moment because it is quite warm down here tonight. And I'm just going to wash my hands and get a nice clean bowl. So the beauty of having a second bowl blade and lid means that you can just keep cooking. You don't have to wash up that bowl. You can just keep going and get lots of stuff done. Rightio, so nice clean bowl, and let's get our dinner started. Finish that recipe, and we'll go into my week again, and we'll go here. Now, the first step of this recipe is for us to grate our parmesan. So if you are buying already grated parmesan, this is a really good swap to get a much better product and a little bit healthier as well. So swap to blocked parmesan, and you can actually do a whole block at a time. So you can just chuck it into chunks about that big, and you can, I'll show you, just go next. It doesn't matter if you've got a little bit extra here than what the recipe wanted, but what you could do is freeze it. Doesn't quite need that much either. What you could do is freeze this. So you could grate up the whole block, and look at that, how good. Oh, oops, are you going? No, you're going. Sorry, Shane. That's the whole block of that's about half the block of parmesan grated there. So that's our grated parmesan, which if you weren't going to use all of that in one sitting, it really freezes really well as well. Rightio. Righto. So go next. It wants us to transfer it into a bowl, clean and dry the mixing bowl. I better do that because we do have a bit of Parmesan cheese on the bottom there. I'm just going to put a little bit of water, slush it around, and just wash that Parmesan cheese off the bottom of my bowl so that it doesn't burn onto the bowl. Rightio, now I'm going to keep going with my recipe. And what I love about this recipe is it's quite a loose recipe that you can add more than what it asks for, and whatever you've got as well. So I'm never going to use half a brown onion, so I put the whole brown onion in when it asks for half. And I always put 1 extra garlic clove in as well. So 1 garlic clove and 1 extra. And I didn't get any parsley, Shane, after I was saying that. But anyway, we'll leave that out because we are in control of our Thermomix cooking. So if we have to leave one ingredient out, doesn't matter. Okay, so now let's have a look and see what it did to that onion and garlic. I feel like I'm freezing, Shane. Where am I freezing? Hopefully I'm not freezing for everybody, just me. Rightio, have a look at that. That's our garlic and our onion chopped up. So good. Now scrape down the sides. It tells me that it wants me to scrape down the sides. When you see that instruction with the Thermomix, it doesn't want you to make sure and get every single piece. It just wants to basically knock everything back into the bowl, basically. Rightio, now we've got half a red capsicum. Again, I'm not going to use half a capsicum, so I put a whole capsicum in. And 100 grams of zucchini. I don't know if I've gone over or under, but I just got 1. Oh, look, it's 240 grams and it needed 100. So you can see that it's like half a zucchini as well, which you're never going to use half a zucchini anywhere. So just chuck it all in. I feel like I've made this recipe so many times that it's kind of my own recipe now. I'm kind of deviating from the recipe so much that it's like my own thing, isn't it? Now, scrape down the sides. Now, I will just check if it wants to chop that again, but I want it to chop that again because that's not fine enough for me. Yep, so I'm going to go back So really, if you've got anything in there that you're not quite happy with, just go back and do that step again. So it was only 3 seconds. We need to go a little bit more. Could be that I more than doubled every ingredient too. And if my kids can see a chunk of capsicum in there or a chunk of zucchini, they probably won't eat it. So I need it to look like that. There's all our veggies all chopped up there, because they don't actually know that there's any veggies in here. So we'll just keep that on the down low and hope they don't watch. Okay, scrape down the sides. Beautiful. Some olive oil. A little bit of a swoosh around of olive oil. That'll do us. And we're going to pop that on, and we're going to cook that for 3 minutes. Now, it did ask me to put the simmering basket on there, but I don't. Oh, yes, I do. When the step asks to put the simmering basket on, the top, it's like this. Quite often it is because it doesn't want it to splatter. But if you can see that that's not going to splatter, because it's definitely not right up here, then you probably don't need to. But just for safety's sake, we can pop it on there so that it doesn't splatter too much or anything like that. So now that actually just cooks those veggies for 3 minutes. Now, Anne's got a question there. What's a good substitute for the salami? So you actually can substitute the salami for anything. Tonight I'm using chorizo sausage from our cow, and came in my meat box this week. You can use some cooked chicken. You can leave it out if you just want a vegetarian pasta. That's fine. I've used a can of chickpeas before. You can do really this recipe was the very first recipe that I was shown in the Thermomix back 11 or 12 years, no, 13 years ago. And it was, I just couldn't believe that you could cook something so quickly and have all those veggies in there and the kids would still eat it. And little baby Wes ate it up and wanted seconds. So I was like, right, I've got to make this. This has got to be part of our life. And we have changed it so many times over the years. And like I said, if you've got like a cooked chicken, you can put, the leftovers of a cooked chicken in there and heat that through. Anything really that's cooked. It doesn't go, the meat doesn't go in long enough for it not to be cooked meat. That's probably your only issue, Anne. So anything that doesn't need to be cooked could go in when it wants the salami. Now, we've only got 48 seconds. So any other questions? That's a good question. And Rebecca's got pizza on the list, or dough, pizza for the weekend, Rebecca, or a dough of some sort. So there's lots of different doughs, and I actually made two double batches of my favourite dough the other day. If anyone wants the recipe, actually I'll send the recipe of my favourite dough when I send my wrap-up email tomorrow. But I made 2 double batches. Well, sorry, I should say the ingredients that you get, ingredient list that you get is a double batch. But I made 2 of those the other day, and I made pizzas, scrolls, what else? Pizza, scrolls, and cheese and bacon rolls, all from the same dough. So find a dough that you like and, yeah, go with it. Rightio, so there we go. Our veggies have started to be cooked there. Oh, it smells so good. Now, it asks for 400 grams of Roma tomatoes. I actually just put in a can of tomatoes because I always have those on hand, and some water. A little bit over is okay. Oh dear. And now some cream, and I always just use the whole thing of cream as well, because I'm not going to use 100 grams of cream ever. By the time I've added all these bits and pieces, it's going to be very full. But anyway, that's how I like it. Now, we're putting in a tablespoon of veggie stock. Now, I'd love to see in the chat who's made their veggie stock already. And I'm going to put a nice big dollop of veggie stock in there. And put that there. And my veggie stock is so green. I don't know what I put in there that made it so green this time, but anyway, that's what I love about the veggie stock, is that every time you make it, it's a little bit different to the last time you made it because of the different ingredients and stuff. Oh, Rebecca made veggie stock last weekend. Excellent. Did you have you made anything with your veggie stock yet, Beck? Oh, and Gail's made it 3 times. Excellent. That's great. You really want to have veggie stock in your fridge all the time. I was talking to a lady the other day and I was saying, like, from getting a Thermomix, one of the only things that I've never bought again, so I've still had an odd takeaway pizza or Chinese takeaway or Indian takeaway or things that I know I can make myself, but I don't. But the thing that I have never bought since having a Thermomix is any kind of stock, paste, cubes, anything. Used it in, I can't see that, Dale, because it's got a thing there. Used it, oh, Marry Me Chicken. Oh, and you're doing the 30-day meal plan. Excellent. The Marry Me Chicken pasta is very popular. I had a lady at our cooking class in Casino on the weekend, and she was going on and on and on about her Marry Me Chicken pasta. Loves it. What was that, Shay? A lady, happened to be my auntie, yes. But she wouldn't shut up about the Marry Me Chicken pasta. And my uncle actually specifically asked me last time I saw him if I could teach her to make something other than the Marry Me Chicken pasta, because he's actually sick of it. But she loves it, and I know it is a very popular recipe. So, yes. Rightio. So while that's cooking, so we've got 10 minutes. So now this is where your time saving in the kitchen starts, because you don't have to be near the Thermomix at this point. You could go and sit down, have a glass of wine, or wrangle the children, do bath time, whatever you needed while your Thermomix was cooking dinner. We're not going to do that. We're going to show you some more information. But this is where time saving and the Thermomix comes together. So can I have a look at the host rewards, Shane, and I'll explain that. Thank you. So we've got a special host reward up until the 31st of March. So Anne has hosted tonight and invited 2 of her friends along to our demo. So to say thank you for that, I will generate Anne a code as a host, and she'll get a discounted item. Or if one of her friends decides to buy a Thermomix in the next 7 to 14 days, 14 days actually, then she will get a bigger discount. So some of these are actually a free item if someone buys, and some are just a further discount. So you will see on this list, if you can see, it might be a little bit little if you're on your phone, but on the list at the moment, we do have the Thermomix cutter and spiralizer combo, which you can't actually buy yet. It's not even in the mix shop yet. I can't even read the prices for that, but I'll send this. I'll send a copy of this in the wrap-up email as well, so that you can have a good look at it. If you've already got a Thermomix cutter, so you might be lucky enough to already have one of those. We have had them for maybe all of last year. Did we have a cutter, Shane? Maybe, I don't know. I forget when we got the cutter. But if you already have a cutter, then there is an option to just get the spiralizer, because the spiralizer is an attachment for your cutter as well. Now, if you've got or you don't want those items, then you definitely can get one of our other ones, like I was talking about, the bread mat. The bread mat actually comes with a rose gold bread tin. So if you're looking to start doing lots of bread making, that would be perfect. Or a glider board, or one of our thermoservers. So our thermoservers are, everybody needs at least 1 or 2 of them, maybe 2. You can use them anytime. You don't have to even be cooking in your Thermomix. They're a really handy thing to have in your kitchen cupboard. as well. So they keep food hot or cold for 2 hours. Perfect if you're going to chuck, you know, stuff in the thermo server and take it down to the beach to have a picnic or to a friend's house, or you know, make your rice before your curry and put your rice on the table in a thermo server. It's nice and hot when you serve your curry, all that kind of stuff. So everyone needs at least one of those. So to get your hands on one of those host rewards, all you've got to do is invite 2 friends along to one of our online demos, or talk to your consultant and book a face-to-face demo, and invite your friends along to your face-to-face demo. So yeah, that's our host rewards. What about our payment options, please, Shane? Maybe? Oh, very good. So like I said before, $2,579 is the investment for the TM6. We do have lots of payment options, including obviously paying it with PayPal, credit card, and Afterpay. The other options are, Shane? I need to be prompted. Excellent. So we do have Humm, which are our partners, where you can pay off a Thermomix. So with Humm, you pay a 5% deposit, $129, and then you can pay it off interest-free for 24 months. It comes in at less than $50 a fortnight, and Humm is a great interest-free option. The other interest-free option we have is Zip Money. A little bit more per week because you haven't paid that deposit. It works out exactly the same as far as fees and charges and all that kind of stuff goes, but just depends if you like Zip Money or Humm the best. We do also have, thank you Shane, the Easy 3, which you pay a $1,029 deposit, and then you pay $800 the next month, and then $800 the following month. And that is just a arrangement with Thermomix. It's not, you don't need to get a credit facility for that one. What about earn, Shane? Joining the team. Excellent. That's a good one. So the best way to get a Thermomix is to come on board and earn a Thermomix. So if you are interested in joining our team, we actually have a free business kit offer at the moment as well. So you can, if you've got your TM6, you can actually get started completely for free. And if you don't have a TM6, you can either buy one on one of the options, or come along and earn a Thermomix as well. Is that all of the options, Shane? Yeah, excellent. That's all the payment options. Let me know in the chat if you do have any questions. Would love to answer any Thermomix questions. I'd love the girls who've got their TM6 already to let me know what your favorite mode is, and have you discovered modes on your Thermomix? So when, I can't probably show you while it's cooking, but over here, or maybe I can. Yes, I can. Over here, can I have the screen, Shane? So where I went there was, here we've got time, temperature, speed. And then over here, we've got the modes. So all of our modes get updated quite often as well. So when we first got the TM6, we probably only had like 2 lines of modes, and now we've got extras here as well. So I'd love to hear what your favorite mode is in the chat. My favorite mode is probably egg boil mode. So in egg boil mode, you just fill up your bowl with water and put your eggs straight in on top of the blades, and pop it straight over to how you'd like your egg cooked, and the Thermomix does the rest, and it dings when you're ready. Oh, Anne said sous vide is her favourite, and I think sous vide's probably one of my favourites as well. I should have thought of that, shouldn't I? But sous vide mode. So for those of you who don't know, sous vide is what Anne and I were talking about at the start, and it is cooking protein, beef, chicken, eggs, any kind of protein actually, at a low temperature for a long time in a water bath. So the Thermomix does that perfectly because it can get to the precise temperature and stay there. So we were talking about before, we sous vide some steak at 50 degrees for 2.5 hours, and that cooks the perfect medium rare, or medium rare steak, and Anne's done some chicken. I'm not sure. Have you done the eggs yet? Oh, the plums. Yes. Plums in the sous vide this morning. Yeah. So yeah, I shouldn't say only protein, should I? So yeah, you can do vegetables, fruit and veggies as well. The sous vide carrots are delicious. And also the sous vide strawberries. Try the sous vide strawberries. They're really good. Yeah, anyway, that's the modes, but like I said, they're all getting updated all the time as well. Rightio, back to my recipe. So how you saw, I just went out of that recipe and had a play with my Thermomix, and then all I have to do now is go next, because now I'm back to where I'm up to over here. Now I'm putting in some pasta. Oh, let me just give this a good whack. There we go. Sorry about that, everyone. Everyone's, you know, now just awake. I'm getting half of this pasta out because we want 250 grams of pasta. And I actually am going to give this a break like that and put it in 2 lots so that I don't have pasta hanging out the top. There we go. Rightio, pop our pasta in and go next. Now this is where we put in our salami as well, so I will take that off. And salami, chorizo, whatever you want to do. And it tells me to mix it well, so it wants me to make sure that that's all covered. So as you can see, it probably doesn't look like the most appetizing thing just yet, but trust me, you've got to make it because it is quite delicious. Rightio. Now the Thermomix is now cooking that for 7 minutes at 100 degrees, and it's going in reverse. So when you're in the reverse mode, just here, yep. When you're in the reverse mode, so normally it looks like this with little blades, but when you're in reverse mode, the back side of the blade is actually blunt. So when you're in reverse mode, it's only the blunt side touching the food, so it's not cutting it up or making it smaller. So perfect when you're cooking pasta. Obviously, we don't want the pasta all chopped up. We want it still in that half a length pieces. So you have to be in reverse if you don't want the Thermomix to chop up stuff as well. Rightio. Now let's have a look at our focaccia. Now I haven't even put my oven on here, Shane. So we definitely are not going to see this cooked. I'll have to put that picture of that in the email as well. But seriously, making a focaccia is so simple. All you've got to do is get your dough. Now you can see how much that's proved. It's quite lovely. I want to put a little bit of oil on my tray. You want to make sure you've got a nice tray, or like a nice tray liner, or what do you call it? Baking paper. Thank you, Shane. I don't know what I would do without you, Shane, when I can't think of a word and you just know the word that I'm thinking of. And all you do is just press it out like this. The kids love doing this. You can get them involved as well. And then just give it like a bit of a press like this, okay, and make it into that shape. And then you can just let it sit and just prove just a tiny bit more, and then whack it in an oven and bake it. Now, what you could do to this, so there we go, there's our focaccia, right? You could put a little bit more olive oil and some like rosemary, or, you know, some people do focaccia art and actually do like a whole little scene on there with parsley and rosemary and like even tomatoes and what was that, Shane? Seeds. Yeah, you can get really creative. I'm really not creative tonight because I wasn't actually going to do. I'm doing a olive oil and rock salt focaccia. It's we definitely won't get any points for creativity tonight, Shane. But let me tell you, everybody will be very happy in the morning when they have this with breakfast. So I've only just turned my oven on, so I'm not going to pop that in just yet. I'll let that, like I said, I'll let that just do a little bit more of a prove. and then I will whack it in the oven when I've done that. What was that, Shane? Oh, COOKIDOO. Yes, let me talk about COOKIDOO. Lucky I've got you, Shane. So, you guys probably already know about COOKIDOO, the ones that have got a Thermomix already. But for Julie, who is only has a or had a TM5, you might not have discovered all about COOKIDOO yet as well. So, cookidoo.com.au. You can go in there and start a free 30-day trial to have a look at the recipes and see if they're for you. And then when you get your Thermomix, you actually get 3 months for free. And then once all of your free time with COOKIDOO has run out, it's just $89 a year to have COOKIDOO. So every time Thermomix bring out a new recipe for the TM6, it's automatically on COOKIDOO. So what side's the kasha tray? That is the medium rose gold. And yeah, it's the medium. There's a small, medium, large, extra large. So that's called medium. Yeah, and it's on the mix shop. And the just an aside, you can get a pack where the tray comes with the tray liner as well, which I recommend. Yeah, anyway, so this is COOKIDOO. Go to the next one, Shane. Sorry, I will keep talking. So you can also, in COOKIDOO, create your own recipes. So you can, you know, modify, you can upload your very own unique recipes, or you can convert a family favourite recipe that you've had for years over to Thermomix way of cooking and upload it into COOKIDOO, which is great. You can modify an existing COOKIDOO recipe, which is what I should do actually for the for this recipe that I'm cooking now, because I realised I've modified nearly every ingredient, so it's barely even the same recipe. And you can also import from the recipe community. So our recipe community is where anyone can upload a Thermomix recipe that they've converted or they've made from scratch. And then from there, you can actually upload those recipes over to your Thermomix. And when you do that, you actually have that recipe step by step on your Thermomix like it's in COOKIDOO as well. My favourite part of COOKIDOO is the meal planning. So within this, within the COOKIDOO app, you can do your meal planning. You can make a shopping list. You can then connect that to your online shopping, Woolworths click and collect or home delivery, and it's just done for you. It's so simple and really great time saver and mental load saver as well. And just make sure that you get the COOKIDOO app as well. So it does come with the app. So if you haven't been really good and you haven't got your meal plan ready, but you end up at Woolworths and you don't know what's for dinner, if you've got your app, which is what I did today, you've got your app. You're basically like you've gone to Woolworths with every recipe book that you have. So you can quickly check the ingredients and, you know, go from there. I've already told you the price. So we do COOKIDOO workshops every month, a couple of times a month actually, where you can actually come and learn more about COOKIDOO, because it is a whole, it's a whole system. There is lots to learn about COOKIDOO, and there's over 90,000 recipes. So not only is there a lot to learn, but there's a lot of recipes to get through. So the best part about our COOKIDOO sessions is at the end, everyone recommends their favourite recipe. So you come away with lots of recommendations of things that you could make in your Thermomix as well. So, rightio, we're ready to dish up. Oh, rightio. So I'm just going to get my tongs, because I'm just going to do it like this. I like to just give everyone a little bit of pasta and a bit of chorizo or whatever meat you've put in. So just fish out a little bit and then just pour the sauce over the top. Like I said, probably not the most probably probably not the most appealing looking one, but the kids will eat it. And, oh, thanks, Stuff. The kids will eat it. I should have my finger here on top of the chips in my blue bowls. The kids will eat it, and you can hide heaps of veggies in there, so they'll never know that the veggies are in there. So that's a really good one-pot Thermomix dinner, and we've got the focaccia on the side as well. So if there's no questions, is there any questions? Any questions in the chat for me, Shane? You can come off mute and ask a question if you like. Or you can, oh, what's that, Shane? Can they see me? Did we just end? No? Okay. You will have to come off mute and ask a question because we've just lost visual. But if there's no questions, thank you so much for joining us for our online demo. Like I said, I will send a little wrap-up email to everyone tomorrow with some of the things that I mentioned. So you've got the links and all the bits and pieces for what I've talked about. And of course, my door's always open. If you've got any questions that you don't want to ask in front of the whole group, please don't hesitate to give me a call as well. No problem. Thanks, girls. See you next time. I'm just going to put this back in here. What did?